Nexus Ops is back, and this time with Renegade Game Studios. We're going to rebox the game to show you what's inside, here on Legendary Tactics. So this is the third edition of Nexus Ops. The very first one was published by the Hasbro version of Avalon Hill back in 2005. The second edition came out with Fantasy Flight Games in 2012. And this is the Renegade Game Studios version of Nexus Ops, and you can kind of get a quick overview of the components here. We're going to rebox it here for you today, but I do love the bright colors. It definitely stands out. The rubium crystals look really cool. The small blue ones are worth 1. The larger ones are worth 3. They're really neat to play with. One of the great things about this game is it feels like it's almost like a toy that's come alive in a game format. So, and if you hold the plastic baggie over top, it just sucks up the rubium right inside. Same thing with the dice. The dice do the same thing. The dice are for combat, and they are basically for the attacker defender dice. The cards as well. You can see the Energize cards and the secret mission cards, and so forth. So the cards are good. There's some of them have actually a fair amount of text on them, but they're fine. They good card stock. Everything is good there. Yeah, we can just take a quick glance through them. For those of you who are players of the previous 2 editions, it's nice to see that Renegade's doing a good job with these components. I really like the graphic design. Just going to put this back into the shrink wrap, as I like to do, just to keep the dust off them. And we're going to put this back in the box. And next up, we have the Monolith. Very nice, certainly compared to the older, certainly the original edition, which was made of cardboard. This is definitely a Monolith worth conquering. It's going to be right at the center of the board, and it's going to look great on the table when you're playing. Lots of baggies, way more baggies than I needed, actually. Strangely, it seems to be a trend in games these days, I've noticed, as they're providing way more than you need. But anyway, these are the different units. We'll look at the yellow faction first. And again, what's really neat about them, just hold the bag over top. They just go right back in. Makes takedown of the game at the end of the gaming session really, really simple. So you can see all the different units here. This is the blue faction. Again, we're just going to put those right back into the bag there. The red faction. I think all the colors pop. They're all very good. It's one of those instances where you're not going to paint these minis because, or at least I suppose you could, but you'd have to want to make sure to keep the faction colors. But I do like the fluorescent, even if they're plain. I like the fluorescent nature of them. I have not tested them under dark light. Apparently that was a feature of the original Avalon Hill game, is that the figurines glowed in under a dark light. So I'll have to try that at some point. But for the moment, I'm just going to put these back in the baggie and get them ready for the next gameplay. Taking a look at the giant hexes that make up the map board, you can see those collections of 3 hexes there. Those are the player bases. The other tiles are used to make up the board itself. And you have exploration tokens as well that are placed face down on each hex. They're made of thick cardboard. I'm just going to put them back in the frame here so that they're very easily stored, and they're not too much work for the next game session here. We'll just pop these back in. Yeah, the colors on the board are great. I've heard in earlier editions there were some difficulties discerning between some terrain types, but there's no problem here. And we've got the different player boards with both the prices and the characteristics of each of the 6 different types of units, but also it kind of doubles as a battle board in a way where you can use this as a way to kind of organize your battles as far as who fires first and second and so forth. The rules seem to be very clear. I read through them. They seem perfectly clear. I've yet to see if there's any sort of ambiguities or game situations when they may have missed something, but they seem fine. And I'm excited to get this one to the table. There's a little brochure there about some of their other games. Put that in there, and we close up the box. Once again, if you've watched the channel before, we love to put the boxes back into the shrink wrap just to make sure that the games are going to be very well preserved on our shelves and don't have to worry about any dust or anything like that. So just wrap this up. So I'm really excited. This is a game I'm going to try out with my son very soon. I think the nature of the game, it's very much like an Ameritrash type game, I think, which I think is really appealing to younger boys especially. Lots of dice rolling, lots of combat, very straightforward gameplay. So I'm looking forward to getting this one to the table. And this has been the reboxing of Nexus Ops. Thanks for watching.